Hello Traceable Designers. Today I'm making an art style cornice valance made using pillowcases. I'm using a contrasting fabric pillowcase with a continuous seam. So I am selecting a king size so that I can get the full width. And then if you want to have extra center panels, you can always make as many as needed to fit your window size. In this example, I'm using a king-size pillowcase because I do have seams around all three sides and I have to remove the fold. This will make a 36-inch wide panel which will accommodate a small center panel. If you want to make something larger than 36 inches, you'll need to select a pillowcase that has two seams that will open up to double that size to accommodate the larger center panel. Since my pillowcases have seams around all three sides, and I've selected one with contrasting fabric front and back, once I've cut around all of the seams, I'll wind up with two 36-inch wide pieces of fabric to make my valance. Each pillowcase section will be 36 inches wide by a little over 20 inches deep. The arched center panel is 12.5 inches deep, so you'll have plenty of room to move around and capture the print, and you'll be able to do a small center panel using a king-size pillowcase with seams around all edges. So I'm going to start, I'm going to make my center panel first, so pull out your heat and bond fusible backing from your package. Make sure you turn your fabric upside down. You're going to be fusing the backing to the back of your fabric section, and you're going to make sure that when you position your heat and bond, which is 17 inches deep, you position it over where your print, if any, is being captured. Once you've determined any print positioning, make sure that you have excess room around all edges so that your heat and bond doesn't go over the edge and end up fusing to your ironing board. So turn the steam off, and then you'll start in the center with a sweeping motion out toward the side. You'll use a medium-high heat, making sure you're always sweeping center out until you've completely fused the backing to the back side of your fabric section. Once the backing is completely cooled, carefully peel the piece of paper off to expose the glue, and then hang on to that paper for protecting your ironing board when you attach your trim. For my lining, I'm using a 100% cotton pillowcase. Make sure that you use 100% cotton, and white is nice. You can use off-white. And then just deconstruct that the same way you did the valance fabric for the other pillowcase, cutting around the seams. Now this will open up at the bottom, so you'll have a quite wide piece of fabric for your lining, and then just size that to make sure that it extends past all the edges and covers every bit of the glue. So cut a little extra large piece, and then you're just going to attach that the same way you did the backing, just fusing the lining to the back of your fabric using a center out sweeping motion, carefully keeping the iron moving until the pillowcase on the back that you're using as lining has completely fused to your fabric, and then just flip that over and run your iron over the front to make sure you get rid of any buckling. To cut out your valance, you're going to fold your fabric section in half with the lining side facing out, and then just pin that to secure it. You have pins in your kit, so pin that where you won't be tracing, just on the outer edge there, and then you'll be ready to position your design form to trace your valance panel. Now remember, we were looking at print placement, so when you're repositioning your design form, make sure it is also positioned on top of any print that you'd like to capture for perfect placement. We are making a small center panel, so use the small sizing line on the left, and then the top edge is going to be the center panel top edge, so you'll be tracing just that center area for your center panel. So start at the outer arrow, trace down the side, make sure you can really see a clear line, holding the design form steady, making sure that it stays properly positioned on the fold. Trace around the form, ending at the folded fabric edge. Then you're going to lower your design form down to where you started, and then you're just simply going to trace across the top edge of the design form to mark your panel height cut line. To cut out your center panel, just put the folded side facing you, and then just carefully follow the trace line around the edges, making sure you hold that down so it stays even on both sides. So just pressing and curving around the edges, just cut out your panel all the way up the side, and then you're going to turn the fabric around so the cut edge is facing you, and then you'll cut straight across the top to mark the cut line or the height line. So when I open my center panel, you can see my print is perfectly positioned right in the center of my panel. So now we're going to prepare this panel for hanging. We're pulling out the Velcro that's included in your package, and you're using the soft side of the sticky back Velcro. You can't just secure that directly to the lining. You do need to prepare the fabric to have that adhere nicely. So you're going to cut a piece of fusible backing about a 1/2 inch wide, and you're just going to secure that by fusing it across the top edge of the lining. And then once that paper has cooled, you'll be able to peel that back. That exposed glue provides the base needed to hold your Velcro permanently on the top of your valance panel. That will fold over the rod and secure to the back of the rod and the back of the side panels. So just fuse on your fusible backing. Once it's cooled, peel it off, and then you'll go ahead and pull out your soft side Velcro, remove the paper from the back of that, and then you're going to stick that right across the top edge on top of the exposed glue. Be very careful when attaching your Velcro because it sticks immediately. You don't want to pull the fabric because you'll cause a permanent buckle, and once you press that down, you cannot remove it. So just carefully slide your hand across the Velcro, making sure that the panel is very flat, and just slide it right across until it's completely secured. That will fold over the panel and onto your side panels. To make my side panels, I'm using the contrast fabric that was on the back side of the pillowcase. So I'm making 2 side panels. I'm using the lined fabric positioning marker, and we've got a little deeper panel here because you have 6 inches of unlined fabric on the top for your rod pocket. So you won't be able to use the fabric in the same direction as you did for the center panel, so you have to turn it sideways. So keep that in mind when selecting a print. The maximum width you can get for a side panel would be 20 inches, and you'll have to do them separately. So once you have sized your fabric, you're going to do the side panel with the design form facing up for the right side, and then upside down for the left side. So make sure you match any print properly for that. Make sure your fabric is upside down. You're using the line fabric positioning marker, so you're going to position your backing straight across and making sure that you don't overlap onto the ironing board. You'll cut your piece of fusible backing to fit, and then you're going to position your design form over top of the fabric so you get perfect placement. Then just slip the backing behind your design form, make sure it's nice and straight across the top, and then carefully remove your design form in order to fuse down your backing. Following the same process as with the center panel, you'll fuse your backing to the back side of your fabric section, and then once that has completely cooled, peel off the paper and then pull out some more lining with a very straight edge across the top. That gets positioned across the top edge of the glue, making sure that's completely covered, and then that fabric, the back lining, will extend past all of the edges to make sure you've fully covered the glue. Then again, beginning in the center, using a sweeping motion out toward the sides, just fully secure your lining to the back of your fabric section. Since we're making individual left and right side panels, we'll begin with the design form facing up for the right side panel. Align your lined fabric positioning marker across the top edge of the lining to begin to trace so it's nice and straight, and then you'll start at the very top of the design form on the unlined fabric section. Trace the right side of the design form, following the curves around to the left side. Then lower the design form to where you originally started tracing, and then trace across the top edge of the design form to mark the height cut line. Mark the small sizing line on the top and the bottom, so when you turn the fabric to mark your outside edge, you can match those 2 marks together so you have a nice straight line for the wall side of your panel. To cut out your side panel, you'll follow around all the edges since you did not use a folded fabric section. So you'll cut the straight edge around the curved edge and across the top edge of the rod pocket, and then you'll repeat the entire process to make your left side panel using the design form reversed and upside down. To make your rod hanging pockets, you'll just fold the unlined fabric section over to meet the top edge of the lining, just don't overlap. And then you'll cut a piece of fusible backing to fit inside of that folded fabric section. You want it to cover the entire width across the top, but you don't want it to overlap onto the lining or onto your ironing board. Then simply fuse the fusible backing to the folded fabric section, and then once that has completely cooled, you're going to peel that off, and then you'll pull your rod pocket over top of your lining so that that's nice and taut, and then you'll fuse the rod pocket down on top of the lining. That'll leave an open pocket for slipping the side panels onto your curtain rod. To prepare your side panels for hanging, you need to add the hard side of the Velcro to the inside curved section. So you'll cut a piece of fusible backing that is approximately 7 inches long, and you'll just position that at the top of the pocket at the curved side, and then you just iron that down. Once that has completely cooled, remove the paper, and then you're going to use the hard side Velcro across the exposed glue. And the reason is when your center panel folds over your side panels and secures to the hard side Velcro on the back of the rod, it's also going to secure to the hard side Velcro on the back of each of your side panels. Okay, for our final step, we're going to add edge trim. I'm using Unique Stitch, which is a tube glue. You can use any tube glue to attach your trim. Use a GIMP trim, which is a braided, this is a 3/8 inch braided trim, which will curve nicely around your edges. So just put a thin line of your tube glue and then extend your trim just about 1 inch above the top edge, and then carefully follow along, pressing your trim in place, making sure to really follow the curves. It makes a big difference in how professional looking your valance will be if your trim is really put on properly. So you can still move it around a little bit while the glue is wet, and then just follow along the entire valance panel. When you get to the bottom edge with the straight edge, run a line of glue across, and then pull your trim kind of straight and taut and put the whole piece down at once. It makes a difference in how straight that looks. So you'll do your center panels and secure your edges behind the panel, and then do your side panels. When you do the curved side of your side panels, you'll snip that off at the straight edge and then use one long strip along the side wall side, and then you'll cover that cut edge by folding the edges underneath. To prepare your wide pocket curtain rod, cut sections of hard side Velcro and insert them between your side panels to hold your center panel. Make sure not to cover the rod break when you're adding your hard side Velcro. Then just slip your side panels on your curtain rod, and then you'll fold your center panel over and secure to the back of the rod and the back of your side panels, and you'll be ready to hang your beautiful new art style pillowcase valance. Thank you for joining me, Traceable Designers, and remember, you can always make your mark with Traceable Designer.